Alright, I'm Jack, and the topic I have for you guys today is revitalizing the green revolution. Agriculture has come a long way since the colonization of North America, where Native Americans taught early settlers to bury fish under crops as their primitive fertilizer. We have progressed from animal-drawn, single-row, moldboard plows to some of the most complex and efficient machines to date. Agriculture is now the world's most massive industry, comprising nearly 60% of the planet's arable land and employing countless numbers of people. This industry provides the world with a vital food source and has begun to offer alternative forms of renewable energy that will make the atmosphere cleaner. This progression has not come without an enormous amount of work and research. We witnessed an agricultural explosion called the Green Revolution, beginning in the 1930s, that resulted in an unprecedented growth in farm productivity. This revolution was led by Norman Borlaug, who practiced the crossing of wheat varieties with specific genes to produce shorter, hardier plants with greater yield potential. These plants stood up to more environmental stresses and fed more people, marking the first time in history that we have seen the purposed expression of genes in plants, or genetic engineering. He received a Nobel Peace Prize in 1970 for his work in hybridizing seeds to produce higher yielding plants. He is credited with saving 1 billion people from starvation and was named the father of the revolution. With Borlaug's help, agriculture saw improved varieties, techniques, management, and genetics, which has skyrocketed yields in a relatively short amount of time. But here we found ourselves on the precipice of a crisis that 20 years ago was not even a thought. We do not have enough food to feed our growing population. We must push ourselves through another agricultural revolution so we can produce more food on less farmed land. The world's population is expected to rise by 35%, adding 200,000 people per day until it climaxes at 10 billion in 2050. So meeting the food demand will be one of the largest issues the world faces in the next 35 years. Crop production is going to have to be revolutionized again, and will have to be nearly doubled to feed everyone. This time we will not only be feeding people, but corn and soybean production must rise to feed a growing number of cattle, pigs, and chickens. This must be done to meet the growing consumption of meat, dairy, and eggs because of people's rise in prosperity. And I know no one wants to give up meat and eggs. 45% of our crops are going to feed animals as primary consumers instead of people. It might seem a simple task at first glance. Farmers just take in more land and utilize our improved agricultural practices, and we would be fine, but that's not the case. The planet's amount of arable land, nearly 60%, has been given over to agriculture. No more can be converted to farmland without destroying forests and ecosystems and therefore harming biodiversity. Urban development is pressuring farmland and decreasing the acres of agricultural production every day, and will continue to decrease as the population grows higher. Rising sea levels caused by melting of ice at the poles could also cause us to lose miles of fertile coastland. Along with land shortages, water is also a resource we are using at an unsustainable level. Agriculture accounts for 85% of human water consumption. Farmers see irrigation as an imperative resource in growing higher yielding crops, and as the need for yield continues to increase, so is the need for irrigation. This means the yields will have to nearly double on less acreage to satisfy the world demand in the relatively near future. To do this, we will have to revitalize the Green Revolution and make steps to improve our agricultural production even more. So what do we do? Does anybody have any possible solutions or ideas that we could use to meet the growing food demand?
GMOs.
GMOs, that's a pretty big one. Anybody else?
Land intensification.
Yeah.
Also, changing people's thoughts about what type of food.
Yeah, changing diet.
Yeah.
Well, there's a couple different alternatives here. There are multiple opinions on the route that agriculture should take to feed the world, whether it be adopting organic, sustainable farming practices, exploring alternatives like aquaculture or changing diets, or intensification in the use of GMOs. When taking into account that the world has exhausted its land resources, that water is scarce, and that organic farming produces lower yields, intensification has to be the clear choice. Genetic engineering and GMOs have caught a lot of flack in the recent news as attempts to improve the environment through organic farming have taken hold. Organic farming cuts out genetic engineering and the use of chemicals and fertilizers, which eliminates the harmful runoff from oversprayed crops and makes them safer for people to consume. However, organic farming is not going to be, Organic farming is hard to do on a large scale and is not going to do the job we need. Opposition to GMOs is not logical when you take into account the yield loss and the great amount of genetic engineering in our crops already. Traits like Roundup resistance, drought tolerance, and higher yield are already in use and can all be contributed to GMOs, making farming operations more efficient and simple. Intensification of agriculture on our current cultivated land is the only shot at producing enough food for the world. GMOs must be utilized to solve yield-reducing problems like drought, heat, pests, and weeds. There's a research program funded by Bill Gates, which is looking into making plants like rice and soybeans more efficient in their photosynthetic processes. Photorespiration in plants takes energy away from photosynthesis. So in order to make plants more efficient, you must take rice, which is a 3-carbon photorespirating plant, and convert it to a 4-carbon plant like corn. These plants avoid respiration, therefore diverting all energy to photosynthesis and increasing yield. It is estimated that making rice C4 will nearly double yields and feed millions. Precision agriculture is also a necessity to reduce harm on the environment. Precision agriculture is being integrated into farming methods across the world using equipment like the Green Seeker, which measures the exact amount of nitrogen needed per plant, GPS tracking systems, and soil sampling to eliminate unneeded fertilizer additions. Precision irrigation systems calculate the perfect amount of water needed to keep crops growing and also help to reduce agriculture's footprint on water use. By 2050, the world will be a much more heavily populated place, and there will be many challenges that must be overcome. The world has already experienced one green revolution that has brought agriculture to its current success, but it will not be enough to meet future demands. The agronomists of this world will have to collaborate to bring us to another revolution. Food production will have to double to feed all these people, despite exhaustion of land, scarcity of water, and higher protein diets. Intensification of modern crops and techniques, coupled with the use of precision agriculture technology and continuous adaptation of plant varieties and processes to withstand different stresses and meet the yield demands of 10 billion, are the tools we must use to solve the problem of food scarcity in the near future. Thank you. If y'all have any questions, that's all I got. Thank you.